Mr. Moderator.
Ms. Reed.
It's important that the select board listen to the town body. And yesterday, the town body communicated resoundingly how they felt about our articles regarding the DPW. And so it is my request to make a motion to move Article 42, the new DPW facility on Town Hall Hill, engineering and site planning for 2 existing conceptual plans, citizen petition, to be moved out of order for town meeting to discuss while we have the energy and the patience and the grace for each other.
So I have a motion on the, I need a second, please.
Second.
All right. Mr. Solog, I recognize you raising your card. Thank you for the second. Ms. Reed, would you care to explain?
I'll just keep it brief. The select board made recommendations on the special town meeting, and town meeting spoke, and I want to be able to listen to town meeting talk about this issue. There are a lot of citizens who feel really passionate about this, and I love town meeting government and the cathartic opportunity to have diverse opinions and ideas, and I want to hear us discuss it at an early hour when the sunlight is out, instead of late at the end of the meeting. And people, as we talk about the trust gap, this is me showing you that I trust town meeting to talk about this, and we should do it now.
Thank you. So the motion is to take an article out of order. So what that is we have, and the motion is to move Article 42, which is actually the last in our warrant, and to move to discuss it now. Is there any conversation about that motion to take out of order? Mr. Braun, please proceed.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Moderator. My name is Russ Braun, Truro voter. I have an amendment to Article 13 that I think accomplishes the same thing in a much cleaner manner. So I would propose that we take the warrant in order and not take Article 42 out of order. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Mr. Marksbury, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. John Marksbury, voter. I don't understand why, in light of yesterday's overwhelming vote, that the town either pulls this entire article, tables it, 13, tables it indefinitely, as the first order of business.
The motion on the floor is to take an article out of order. So
I'm just suggesting it should be after Article 13 is considered.
So you would be opposed to that taking it out of order?
I guess so, yes.
Thank you.
Sorry.
All right. Mr. O'Brien, please proceed.
Dennis O'Brien, Truro voter. I'm the lead petitioner on Article 42, and I would support the gentleman's previous statement, as well as this other gentleman's, that we pursue Article 42 after Article 13.
Thank you. Any other comments? Ms. Worthington, please proceed.
Jan Worthington, Truro voter. I'm just going to reiterate what the previous speaker said. We need to vote on 13 first.
Thank you. Any other comments on the motion, which is to take Article 42 out of order? Ms. Clark.
Morgan Clark, voter. Really confused. We were willing to take this as Article 3.5, but we're not willing to have it be Article 12.5 or 13.5. I'm not sure where we are. So if someone wants to tell me why we could have it at the end of the day yesterday, move 42 up, but we can't have it now, I'd love for that explanation.
So the motion on the floor is to take Article 42 out of order.
Yes.
So are we ready to vote? Yes. All right. So all those in favor of taking Article 42 out of order, please raise your card. All those opposed. Motion fails. Thank you very much. We are now on to Article 13, which is a borrowing authorization for the engineering and construction of public works facility. Do I have a mover for Article 13?
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Weinstein.
I move Article 13, borrowing authorization for the engineering and construction of a public works facility. I want the assembled body to understand that what I am about to read acknowledges the fact that Articles 3 and 4 of the special town meeting failed. So I move as follows. I move that the town appropriates $28,310,000 to pay the cost of engineering and construction of a new Department of Public Works facility at 340 Route 6, including the payment of all costs incidental and related thereto, and that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the Select Board, is authorized to borrow said amount under and pursuant to General Law, Chapter 44, Section 7(1), or any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds or notes of the town therefore, provided, however, that such vote shall not take effect until the town votes to exempt from the limitations on total property taxes imposed by General Law, Chapter 59, Section 21C, which is Proposition 2.5, the amount required to pay the principal of and interest on the borrowing approved by this vote, and further that the Select Board and/or town manager are authorized to apply for and accept any federal, state, county, or other funds that may be available for this purpose, and to enter into any agreements for the acceptance of any such grants or funds which shall be used to offset the total appropriation authorized made by this motion.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Reed. Who would like to speak to this article before it goes to the floor?
Mr. Moderator?
No, we have.
Ms. Reed, go ahead.
Can I hear through you, Mr. Moderator, Russ Braun?
So you have no comments before we bring this to the floor?
I would like to hear his comments before I make comments. I trust Russ, and so I just...
Okay, so you're deferring then.
I'm deferring.
Mr. Braun, please speak. Introduce yourself.
Yes, Russell Braun, Truro voter. In respect to the various votes that were taken yesterday, the one thing that was sort of left out was, yes, we want a facility on Town Hall Road. However, there was no funding mechanism for doing all of that study work that needs to be done in advance. So I offer an amendment to Article 13, which I will forward.
Thank you.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Tangeman.
We have, as discussed, we have a staff, quick staff 3 minutes if you can, just to speak on the article before further discussion.
Thank you.
And that would be Jared Cabral, our DPW director.
Hold on 1 second, please. Mr. Cabral, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. So just for a quick review, the ad hoc committee has been hard at work over the last month. We've had 8 meetings as a staff with consultants, ad hoc committee, town manager, and what we've come up with is what you...
Mr. Hickey.
Point of order, there's a motion on the floor.
We are allowing I'm allowing Mr. Cabral to speak. Thank you.
The motion on the floor?
Well, I'm allowing Mr. Cabral to speak.
All right.
Please proceed, Mr. Cabral.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. So as I was saying, what the ad hoc committee and staff, our consultants, town manager have come up with is an evaluation of 3 different versions of the DPW with 3 different costs. The maximum borrowing authorization we're requesting is a little over $28 million. The low end of that is $24.3 million for an all-wood building, hybrid building in the middle of that, with the high end being our request right now. We have, like I said, we've taken 8 meetings as a group together. There's been open comment during those meetings. We've listened to the public. I've received some questions to my email. I brought that to the committee as from input from some community members. And so if at a minimum we can get engineering to move forward, we'll be able to keep moving the project without having cost escalation over time, even if we just get the engineering to keep the project moving.
Thank you. We're still reviewing the amendment, so hold, please.
Right, all right.
We're going to accept this motion to amend, and I'm going to read it. And it really is...
It just changes the first
there too. Okay. All right. So the motion to amend, and Mr. Braun, I hope I have this correct, is going to change the first three and a half lines of the motion that's printed in your book. And the motion to amend is, I move that the town appropriate the sum of $2,831,000 or any other sum to pay costs, engineering, and related services for a new Department of Public Works facility, including the 340 Route 6 site.
No,
Excluding. Thank you. All right. So, Mr. Braun, would you like to speak to that?
Yes, thank you. As I said, yesterday, town meeting made it very clear that they wanted a facility predominantly at the current DPW site on Town Hall Hill Road. But when the meeting was over, there was no funding mechanism to do the future studies that need to be done. And I think that the general sentiment was that we want the project to move ahead. And so in order to do that, we have to have engineering work done. And this is a way to do it.
Second.
Thank you. Any conversation on the motion to amend? Any questions? I can read it again. I move that the town appropriate the sum of $2,831,000 or any other sum to pay costs. I've just been informed by Mr. Giorgio to take out or any other sum. So it will read, I move that the town appropriate the sum of $2,831,000 to pay costs, engineering, and related services for a new Department of Public Works facility, predominantly at the Town Hall Hill site, excluding the 340 Route 6 site. And then it goes on to authorizing the borrowing. So the rest of the motion stays the same in terms of, and that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer with the approval. So the remainder of it remains the same in your motion book. Any questions? Mr. Roberts, do you have a question or comment?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Rich Roberts, Truro voter, Planning Board Chair. Speaking as a private citizen, I think it's very important we keep the project moving, and therefore that engineering fees are provided to do that regardless of the site. Thank you.
Thank you. Over here, Ms. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Tracy Rose, I am a Truro voter. I do serve on the Board of Health, but I'm speaking as a citizen. And I would just like to offer some information as people contemplate their votes today regarding this very hot issue. The DPW is on 17 Town Hall Road. I live at 1 Town Hall Road. I've lived there for pretty much 4 decades. And I hear lots of talk about the noise and safety, and it really disturbs me because comparing the two spots, 340 Route 6 to Town Hall Hill, and I just would like to say that Town Hall Hill is in a residential zone, and the DPW is smack in the center of the residential zone. Over here at 340 Route 6, it is it's not mixed use, it's in a limited business district. When you talk about safety, I'm an avid walker. I've been walking my area, my neighborhood, the DPW neighborhood, for about 40 years. It is not safe. It's not safe for me to walk. It's not safe for the bicyclists. It's not safe for all the people that walk and stand in season to pick up the bus. And it is not safe. Here, this neck of the woods, it's already in a pre-established safety caution zone. There are lights here versus in the area of Town Hall Hill, the street lights I'm referring to. And those are just common sense things that I think people should be aware of as they think about their vote. In addition to this, and I know I'm probably running out of time, but if you've ever seen the DPW in action day after day, week after week, month after month, most of the time, especially in the winter, they're not even able to use Town Hall Road.
Ms. Rose, you have about a minute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They have to use Bridge Road, over to Town Hall Road because of the steep, that first incline on Town Hall Road. You can see the blades in the pavement when you go up to Town Hall to attend a meeting or whatever. So I'm just adding that information as everyone deliberates and tries to make their decision, that please just use a wide-angle lens and take some of the points that I just stated into consideration.
Thank you.
Mr. Moderator,
Mr. Weinstein.
I would like to speak to Mr. Braun's amended motion.
Please proceed.
I would like to speak in favor of what Russ Braun has presented to the community. People should be welcoming the opportunity to study the Town Hall Hill site, because the study may in fact preclude the DPW from going there. As we sit here, there has only been a phase 1 study of what's in the ground at Town Hall Hill. The DEP has informed the town that whatever is discovered in a phase 2 exploration of what's in the ground, the word from the DEP is the town shall clean that site up and assume all costs related to it. So I think this is a valuable opportunity to actually inform the voting public by the research necessary. And the funds requested here mirror the previous discussions about the DPW. It's 10% of that $28,310,000. And it does not actually assign an address, so I welcome this. Please support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Marksberry, please proceed.
I would just like to, John Marksberry, Truro voter, to support Mr. Braun's effort and thank him for bringing here clarity on this subject of amending the Article 13 and sparing, as Ms. Reed was so concerned about, a discussion when everybody is pooped out at the tail end of the meeting. And in terms of any neighborhood complaints about the DPW, it's my understanding the DPW has been at its site for at least 50 years. So I'm sort of reminded of the Snells who opposed the Bells at Town Hall many years ago, who had bought their property afterwards and then complained about the Bells.
Thank you. Anyone? Ms. Arison, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Sue Arison, Vice Chair of the Select Board. I wanted to just amplify a little bit on Bob Weinstein's remarks. I too support this amendment. I think it's really important to move forward certainly with design and engineering fees. And the thing that is also really important here is that while it excludes the 340 Route 6 site, we heard everybody loud and clear yesterday, it doesn't exclude other sites. So we may have an opportunity to vote later in the warrant on noons. But at any rate, the important point here is that we need to move forward and we need the money to do that. And I think that this amendment really does that in a very creative way. I support it.
Thank you. Mr. O'Brien, please introduce yourself.
Dennis O'Brien, Truro voter. I'd like to call the question.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Reed. So now we are voting on whether to vote on the amendment, and I'm going to read the amendment again. I move that the town appropriate the sum of $2,831,000 to pay costs, engineering, and related services for a new Department of Public Works facility, predominantly at the Town Hall site, excluding the 340 Route 6 site. So that is the amendment you're voting on. All those... Go ahead. Oh, that's right. Thank you. Thank you. So now we're voting on whether we're going to vote on that. Thank you. All those... You know, it's a group effort here. What can I say? All right. So all those in favor of calling the question, please raise your cards. All those opposed? Thank you. All right. So now we are voting on the amendment. All those in favor, please raise your cards. All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So now we're back to the amended Article 13. Is there any more discussion on the amended Article 13? Ms. Barkin, if you could come to a microphone, please.
Joanne Barkin, Truro voter. It seems to me, and I would like to be corrected, so this is actually also a question of information, that the difference between Article 13 as amended and Article 42 is that Article 42 is proposing $1 million for the study of two different concepts.
Point of order.
So we're on the question of Article 42.
This is
I'm not Article 42, Article 13 as amended.
Okay, I'll just reverse the order of what I'm saying. Article 13 now proposes $2.8 million for the study of the site, starting with or primarily for Town Hill Road. And why is this study $2.8 million when it seems like another study that's being proposed is just $1 million? And the other difference is that this study, as Mr. Weinstein is very happy about this, that we can consider lots of other sites can be considered. When there was a sort of sense yesterday that people would like this to be Town Hill, I just want to clarify that there are these two differences between 13 and 42.
Thank you, Ms. Barkin. Mr. Tangeman.
Sure.
Yes.
No.
No. We voted on whether to approve the amendment. So we're back to the original article as amended. Thank you, Ms. Worthington. Mr. Tangeman.
I can speak. I'll speak to the towns, the percentage that Russ Braun proposed. He's an experienced architect and was a former building commissioner for the town of Truro. I will say that 10% is the standard for design and engineering, 10% of the total cost, and that's where that number comes. I can't speak on behalf of the citizen petition and where they came up with the million, but I do know that this is a standard number that's established for design and engineering. It's always 10% generally. Probably 99.9% of the time. So
I'm going to go to Mr. Althouse here over on the far left. Please introduce yourself.
Ellery Althouse, voter. I call the previous question.
Second.
Thank you. So now we are voting on whether to move to a vote on Article 13 as amended. So if you would like to move to a vote, please raise your voter cards high. If you are opposed, please raise your cards. Motion carries. So now we are ahead to voting on Article 13 as amended. So this requires I've been reminded, this requires a 2/3 vote. So all those in favor, please raise your cards. All those opposed. Motion carries by clear 2/3 majority. Thank you very much. I know there's a lot of stuff going on there, so I appreciate you following along.